So, people, the seas between us. This is the new short film from Faisal Lutchmedial. He wrote and directed. It is produced by Alexis Mary Shin and executive produced by Faisal Lutchmedial. Amaraf Vaz took care of the music. Oliver Milne is on cinematography. Faisal Lutchmedial, he's wearing a lot of hats, right? He edits the piece too. Production design is handled by Laurie Antoinette. Gervais Alun is the art director. Costume design, we have Safia Elena Ali. Hair and makeup, there's actually it's just one person, just written twice. It's Lafia Mike. Who else do we have? Okay, now we have our cast. Right, so Ruma is played by Sanjana Morang. Pretty is played by Kavita Musty. Anand is played by Joel Joseph. Vaz, played by Sanjeev Budu. Patti-Anne Ali plays Latika. Raj is played by Dondre Blake. The taxi driver played by Andy Jones. We've got Nani played by Sumati Marja. Shami played by Vivikand Singh. We've got the auntie doing the cooking played by Anjani Bahadur Lutchmedial. The mother and daughter, right? The mother is Kavita Bagan. The daughter is Arya Bagan. And one of the guests at the party is played by Mishri Lutchmedial. So it's kind of a family affair too, right? Now, what is it all about? In central Trinidad and Tobago, circa the late 1960s, Ruma, a 10-year-old Indo-Caribbean girl, watches her uncle arrive back home with his new bride. The little girl is impressed by her new aunt, who is dressed in a gorgeous sari, and imagines her as an Indian princess, the most elegant and dignified woman she's ever seen. She isn't the only one who is fascinated with this woman from the old country, a place the locals barely had any contact with for generations. To them, she is a window into their past, a glimpse at an idealized version of their culture. So, yes, that's the gist of things, right? Now, we do have a little piece from Faisal. It reads, a great deal of my work has explored the theme of immigration and displacement. And with this short, I examine what this means for people like the indentured labor force from India who moved to Trinidad and Tobago, and then their descendants who immigrated elsewhere generations later. This film depicts a brief moment of time that was pre-globalization and just post-colonial. This was an era where South Asian Trinidadians were mostly cut off from where they came from and trying to understand who they were as a nation independent from the UK. It's really fitting that this year's themes for the UK Asian Film Festival are longing and belonging, because this is exactly what The Seas Between Us is about. A little girl who longs to understand what her place is in the world and what kind of woman she can become. Man, and this show, it's like 15 minutes, if that. You know what I mean? And my gosh, we have so much here, right? I think it's not even 14 minutes, to be honest with you. Not even 14 minutes. But all of what Faisal just says there, it's so apparent to the viewer. Right? Now, I think at the beginning, we just get a Trinidad and Tobago 1966. That's all the information we get. Right? But just from, like, the facial expressions, just the mood, the vibe, just all of these things tell us so much. Right? And so this short not only shows the fantastic work of Faisal, but it also shows how important like a cast is, because they were able to give us so much, right? And, kid actors, it's a difficult thing at times, right? Because, they've got limited time on set, right? They've got limited experience, and limited experience of emotions, right? So yes, you might have kids that have worked a lot, right? But they haven't experienced shit. So it's just like, I want you to give us heartbreak. Like, do they know what that is? You know what I mean? Like, heartbreak to them might be not getting the toy they wanted for Christmas. It's a different thing. So when you find a kid that can deliver so much to you, man, that's just an impressive thing. And that's what we get here. Because, the aunt and uncle, well, her aunt and uncle, they've arrived, Ruma's, right? And so we see her looking through the window. I think it's her bedroom window. It might be one of the other windows, but she's looking through this window. And she's like, they've arrived. And just from that little scene, it tells us so much, right? The anticipation. Just the thought of, oh my God, these people are coming, right, from another part of the world. As I said, this is, pre-globalization. There's no internet. There's no mobile phones. You know what I mean? Like, TV channels are limited. There's no cable. Right? The world is such a different place. And just coming out of colonization as well. Man, people's exposure to things is very limited. So it's such a big thing having these people come. And, that opening scene gives us that, but also just, the way this is told. Like, we've got people, relatives and other people coming to visit and see them and everything. And I think, right, Brazil's made a lot of documentaries and other short films. I think his documentary work really speaks to this short, because the way we're following everyone around and kind of view, it does feel like, right, a home video at times. And that's in a good way. That's not a slur, right? Because we're up close and we're kind of tracking as if someone is moving through a crowd, you know what I mean? Trying to get a glimpse of what's going on, right? And so it gives you that extra level of intimacy, right? And curiosity, because that's what Ruma has, this curiosity about, who this woman is. And we have her at one point being like, you're an Indian princess. And then when she's told that, you know, she's a teacher, it's just like, huh? Like, I know what teachers are. My teachers don't look like you. Right? And so you get that. But then it's just like, who said I was an ordinary teacher? You know? And the wonderment of looking at a globe, just the thought of people somewhere else, which I think it can see, as a little kid, it can seem such a crazy concept. Like, people live on the other side of the world? Wait, are they walking upside down? Like, how does that work? You know, so when it's presented to you, it's so fascinating, right? And that wonder and fascination is so apparent. And it really does, you know, bring that aspect of this to life. But then we have these other moments, right, of communal cooking, right? That's it, right? When we have Patti cooking with the aunties. And it's just like, oh, we have a food like this. You know what I mean? But, oh, we don't stuff ours. So you get that kind of, you know, merging of cultures, right? That similarity, because it is funny, right? I think sometimes we look at people and go, oh, they're so different from me. But then if you break it down, it'd be like, wait, oh, yeah, I like a dish that's very much like that dish. Oh, you do that like I do that. Man, we're similar, right? And that's it. Sometimes there's not a lot separating us other than language, skin color, maybe a few different spices in the food, you feel me? And we get all of that here. This is a really delightful short film. And as I said, it's not even 14 minutes, but you are given so many emotions. Like, the score works to, you know what I mean, again, feed into that curiosity and wonderment, you know? And it's just like, wait, a score can do that? Yes, people, a score can do that. And that's what we get here. Every facet of this film is just delightful. It just works, you know? So it's playing at the UK Asian Film Festival. But if you can't make that, if, you know what I mean, you see this anywhere near you, people, you need to give it a check, because it is just so good. It's so good. And, you know, after watching this, you're going to be like, yo, I need to check out more work from Faisal Lutchmedial. You know what I mean? It's that good, people. Trust me. So keep an eye out for The Seas Between Us. You will not be disappointed.